we were denied any number of cool things, including a winning bet. Just one shot needed to go down for Stephen A. Smith to show up in Miami wearing a fully white suit at the center of White Hot. We will instead have to settle for Stephen A. Smith going and getting Mad Dog, Chris Russo, now Celtics, defender of Kuzi and Havlicek and storied Celtics past, is on First Take right now. We will go to Billy in moments, but Tom Haberstroh came in here, and this week we will continue to ask for your support as we try to raise money for ALS research and ask you to go to worldofsuey.com where you can help support a telethon that will be live tomorrow and that Tom Haberstroh is in Miami organizing as part of Lou Gehrig Day with Major League Baseball.
worldofsuey.com/Lulapalooza if you want to go direct to that landing page so you can buy tickets.
And you want to spell Lula for them because it can be difficult to spell, and I think you should have these things easy to spell, but nobody consulted with me.
It's like Lollapalooza, but Lou instead of La, so Loulapoola. What?
Nope, didn't get it.
Well, you shouldn't have asked me to do that.
No, the reason I ask you to do it is because I'm trying to make it easy for an audio audience, and I just think it's a fairly silly catchphrase because it's not easy. I think,
all right, I'm ready to go.
These things.
Loulapalooza.
Bingo.
Better than 10 Lollapaloozas. Spell Lolla, but
Before we get to Billy's analysis of what's happening with First Take, though, Tom Haberstroh did come in here wanting to defend Steph Curry against Stugotz's claims yesterday that Steph Curry has something to prove in these finals. Or
those were my claims. I
backed you up on those claims.
And I was asking,
the backup, but you have not dealt with the fallout on social
media. When do champions ever have to prove anything to anybody? Multiple-time champions, but where do you stand on this?
Well, I just think a guy who's averaged 26, 6, and 5 in his finals career gets way too much slander. Think about it, 26, 6, and 5 in the finals, and it's a disappointment. Is the way to frame it.
I do think it's fair to frame it as a disappointment. Yeah, I understand he's been good by almost any measurement, even not quite the standard that he's entered into these finals. The standard has always been for Steph Curry is this is the greatest shooter of our generation. There have been finals that he's matched up against LeBron, and there was a legitimate debate, Steph or LeBron. When I say Steph Curry has disappointed, admittedly, it is because impossibly high standards he's set. But he has disappointed in the finals. He's never won an NBA Finals MVP. Moreover, I would say, in terms of performances, he's never been in the top 2 performances that we've seen in NBA Finals that he's ever competed in. He's been behind Kyrie. He's been behind Kawhi. He's been behind Durant every time Durant has been healthy in them. He has been behind LeBron. And he was behind Andre Iguodala, where Andre Iguodala got 7 of 11 first-place votes just because he made life a little bit difficult for an all-world LeBron James that was trying to do it with Mozgov and Dellavedova.
Look, 2019... You're telling me 2019, he's not the top 2 player in that series against the Raptors? He had 47 points in one of those games, and we're saying that he wasn't a number 2 player. He lost KD and Klay Thompson in that series, and we're holding it against him?
So I guess by default, because KD was injured and because Klay went out with an injury, I guess I should concede second best player in the series that was just totally ravaged by injuries?
I want to side here with Tom on the idea of, is this where the standard is now?
Yes.
Like you guys are going to continue to move the standard on where championship winners get to reside, where a guy wins multiple championships and you're still out here with no one else I've heard who's won this many championships. You still got to prove it to me. I don't totally trust you.
I'm not moving any standard. If he loses this finals, he'll be 3-3 in the NBA Finals. He will have never won a Finals MVP. He will have never been the best player on a team that won an NBA Finals. Like that's not moving the standard. We're just saying, hey, go win a title, win your 4th, be the best player on the team while you win it.
It's really disrespectful.
That's not asking too much, Dan.
I think it is asking too much, and I think it's really disrespectful to greatness in real time that you would question it from this angle when you're saying, hey, the championships, they're okay. But again, with the bus driver bullshit, like again with the hierarchy of the new hierarchy of how we rank players, where were you the bus driver? Oh, you were in the second seat. Well, you were the bus driver when you scored the 47, but I don't want to remember that one because it doesn't suit my argument.
Hey, Dan, it's Billy in the kitchen. I don't want to interrupt, but what you're saying, But Mad Dog said that the championship that they won in 2016 against Dellavedova, Shumpert, and Tristan Thompson, they don't get credit for that championship. So in terms of rings, that one didn't count. Also, Mad Dog's wearing a jacket that looks very itchy today. And he says that he is tired of players making excuses. Quote, if you're injured, don't play. If you play, you're not injured. And then went on to say that he saw Larry Bird play with a broken wrist and has said that the Celtics will win in 6. Back to you.
Wow, that is some good coverage. Close up. Thank you, Billy. And please don't go too far away because I want to know everything that's being said over there.
Doggy is right about that Cavs title, right? Like, I mean, that's a bad team. Beat a bad team, right? You agree?
Dan, I appreciate your passionate defense of the greatness of Steph Curry. I'm saying for an all-time great, it is rather weird that you can't definitively say he had a top 2 performance in an NBA Finals. It's odd. He doesn't have a Finals MVP. He had an opportunity to win one early on. He went against Mozgov and Dellavedova and LeBron, who should have won the MVP that year instead of Andre Iguodala. And there was one game that he was held scoreless. It put Matthew Dellavedova in the hospital, but he was held scoreless when Dellavedova was guarding him. These are marks against an illustrious career. He's an all-time great. I'm saying that I hold him to a higher standard because he is so great. It is patently weird that he hasn't won a Finals MVP.
Look, when you look at his numbers, 26.5 points, 6.2 assists, 5.7 rebounds per game in the finals. You know there's only 2 players in NBA Finals history who have averaged those numbers in the finals. 2 players, Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Those are his numbers. Right. He has a higher true shooting percentage in the finals than just about anybody in the guard position, including Kobe Bryant, including Michael Jordan, including
How come he never
LeBron.
wins Finals MVP, though?
Because here's the thing about Steph Curry. They put so much attention on this dude that everyone else gets better. Because of how good he is from 30 feet in, they double team him, he passes out, and everybody else has better numbers.
So you're making the argument that he was better than Durant when Durant was on his team?
I'm arguing that statistically, he had a better convincing case than Andre Iguodala in that series in 2015, but the narrative showed that when Andre Iguodala went into the starting lineup, that changed the series. But there is no argument statistically.
And Steph put up a couple of stinkers when he could have absolutely solidified that award.
Everyone puts up stinkers. Everybody. Michael Jordan or not. I'm saying top line numbers.
But all the greats that win championships also win NBA Finals. NBA Finals MVP. Like, it's weird that he hasn't. And now, if they win the title, it'd be hard to excuse him not winning Finals MVP, even though, admittedly, this is probably the worst Steph Curry that we've seen entering a Finals just because of the injuries he's dealt with.
I'll give you a chance to retract if you want on Jordan. Like, I'll give you the chance. He never put up a stinker. I'll game log him right now and promise you he never put up a stinker in the NBA Finals. Ever. Okay. You can take it back now if you'd like.
Do you think he'd be held scoreless by
But
Dellavedova?
we're still going to do we're still going to do the standard is here's how today's greats are not as great as Michael Jordan because we ignore all the times he lost before the finals and just hold the standard of, well, you're not 3-3 in the finals. You were 6-0 in the finals.
No, what I'm doing is
difference.
The greatest player in Warriors franchise history by a wide margin never won Finals MVP while he was with the franchise that won 3 NBA Finals. That's weird, huh?
I didn't think that Finals MVP was something that we were holding up as something that meant something.
Oh, it rings throughout history.
You
dominated in the NBA
but
Finals.
But when Andre Iguodala won that thing, he was unlike any winner of that award that we had ever seen, and all he was doing is getting in the way of LeBron, who was going to shoot 50 times in the game because the team that they had was going to be LeBron shoots 50 times. Can someone get him to shoot 32%? Hey, Iggy, here's the trophy. Like, isn't that what happened that season?
What you're describing is a pretty low bar. Why didn't Steph Curry clear it?
I just said he makes everybody around them better in ways that nobody else has ever done it because he gets double teamed as soon as he crosses half court.
Oh, I know. Iguodala won MVP because he buried wide open 3 looks that were generated because of how Cleveland guarded Steph Curry.
Look,
but also 0 of the 11 voters voted for Steph Curry as MVP.
My point on how weird this is that you're swinging around with Finals MVP vote, Mike, is that right now you're trying to contrive some sort of argument that Jimmy Butler has earned more with you than Steph Curry has.
No, that was you actively contriving that argument. Those words never left my mouth.
But Jimmy Butler doesn't have anything to prove to you. Jimmy Butler
he does. He didn't. Is he an NBA champion?
But
no.
what does Jimmy Butler have to prove to anybody?
Oh, he's got to win a title.
I don't know what. Look, I'm not being dragged into a Jimmy Butler debate. This is the one contrivance that is happening here. I'm not contriving anything. What I am stating is a fact. Steph Curry, the greatest player in his franchise's history, was a part of 3 championship teams, and he has 0 finals MVPs. That's all I'm saying. That is disappointing.
I like the argument that, like, you should have lost earlier. Steph Curry goes to, 5 straight NBA finals, and then we're going to hold it against him when he averages 26 points a game that he didn't win finals MVP.
Well, Kevin Durant made it easier for him.
Cedric Maxwell won finals MVP. Is he better than Steph Curry?
He's got that. No, man, I'm not making that argument. I'm not making the argument that Iguodala is better than Steph Curry.
I'm making the argument that Steph Curry has nothing to prove to anyone. That the credentials that he has, not missing a finals MVP, I've never heard held against a champion who is clearly one of the best players ever. Hey, you're not finals MVP.
I'm nitpicking, but it's a credential he's missing.
Well, Mike, take away finals MVP for a second. I agree with you, okay? I will stand right by your side in this argument, okay? You don't think Steph needs a second title without Kevin Durant?
No, but
you that's important?
Stugotz, you're not saying he merely...
Without Kevin Durant.
Stugotz, you're not merely saying he has to win a second one. You're saying, hey, win a second one, and if Clay scores 30 a game, I'm still not going to give you the credit for it.
Well, you're right, yeah.
Win it 3 times, right? Without KD.
Win a second one without KD and be the best player on the team while winning the NBA Finals. Not a lot to ask from one of the all-time greats. I mean, be an all-time great.
Hey, Dan, it's Billy from the kitchen again. So a couple things have happened since I checked in last. One, Stephen A. has picked the Warriors, so now him and Mad Dog have opposite teams. Mad Dog has the Celtics, Stephen A. has the Warriors. Mad Dog went on a rant about basketball from the 1950s. He quickly realized he was losing the room, turned to Molly and said, "You don't care about any of this, do you?"
Doggy.
We have since moved on from basketball to Destin, Florida, where Paul Feinbaum has joined the show. Paul Feinbaum looks better than anyone has ever looked in Destin, Florida. That's not a shot at Destin, Florida. That's just to say Paul Feinbaum looks great. He could probably be the mayor of Destin. So he's there for the SEC spring whatever's is going on. And he said that what's going on between Jimbo and Nick Saban, that Jimbo made this a thing, and that he called Nick Saban despicable 15 times. I guess he counted what was going on there. He said that Jimbo went DEFCON 1, and that's not something that should have been done, and that he's talking today. He didn't talk yesterday, so people are going to be looking forward to that. Then Mad Dog said that he's a big fan of Paul Feinbaum, and that he does not want to hear from Jimbo Fisher at all, and that Jimbo Fisher is not a patch on Nick Saban's fanny.
What does that mean? Okay, excellent. What does that mean?
Job.
Not a patch on his fanny. Anyone know what that means? A patch on his fanny. The words are escalating in Destin, Florida, as a very tan Paul Feinbaum reports from the Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban scrum.
Well, when you were a part of his staff and you're one of a very few active head coaches in college football that has an NCAA title, I push back against that notion. I do think that Jimbo Fisher is a patch on Nick Saban's fanny.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show, Guillermo, please. Is Jimbo Fisher a patch on Nick Saban's fanny?
Have you ever seen Paul Feinbaum look that good and relaxed? He's got to ditch the suit. That is a great look for him.
He is beachside. He has got sunglasses. He is strapped and ready for college football Armageddon as Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher cannibalize each other in Destin, Florida, and Paul Feinbaum gets a trip out of it so that he can be tanned in SEC country.
Let me close a loop on the Steph Curry thing, because I know Lord knows on my Twitter I'm getting hit with hater and all this. I want to see Steph Curry be great. I want to see him absolutely dominate a finals. It's the one thing, the one slight little nitpick that I have on an illustrious career of the greatest shooter I've ever seen. I'm not hating. I'm just spitting facts. He's never won a finals MVP. That is odd.
Okay. 89 and 39. Steph Curry is a career 89 and 39 in playoff games, better than any MVP in history. Mm-hmm. Steph Curry, when he is on the floor,
you think he'd win the MVP?
Do me a favor, by the way, include the 2 seasons he missed the postseason while he was still at the peak of his powers.
Okay, so we're going to do the thing where, like, Michael Jordan doesn't get to the championship. But
you lament that. You don't like it when people say, well, he was perfect in the finals. What about all the years he didn't make the finals? Yes, Steph Curry's record in the postseason is great, except the times that he lost to Ja Morant in the play-in. and didn't actually get to add to that win-loss total.
And keep in mind, Jordan did make the finals.
Numbers, man.
Yeah, by leaving the game. He left the game completely.
We're going to reduce it to one game. So the Miami Heat don't win the 2012 NBA championship, right? Because they lost game one. They don't win.
No,
because we're not allowed to lose one game.
What I'm saying, it's a numbers man trick of yours to not include the last 2 seasons. It's not a strike against them.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Is that a numbers man trick of Tom Haberstroh's? Because
Mike's right.
the part, as you say, Mike's right. The only part that I'm actually objecting to is the idea of this is a frame of reference, given what we've seen of basketball. Yes, you changed the entire game. Do more.
Do it in the finals.
Yeah.
Do more. Do it in the finals.
Change
do
the
more.
game in the finals.
You change the entire
Let's see
sport.
that game
do
win the
more.
finals.
And I can see a scenario where this actually becomes a conversation because the switching defense of Boston might make threes hard to come by in a season where Steph hasn't been what Steph has been. Steph hasn't been the best shooter in the sport and in the world this season. He's been a mortal for Steph Curry's standards.
He benefited from some tremendous defenses himself, and he got outplayed by Kyrie Irving. Won NBA Finals. He's not as good at Kyrie Irving isn't as good a player as Steph Curry is in the history of the game. Why was he outplayed by Kyrie Irving in the finals?
He has a better finals PER. I mean, just going to keep rolling out these numbers.
You would say LeBron James is good,
PER.
and he opens stuff up for his teammates, yes?
Yes, but he doesn't get doubled at half court like Steph Curry does, and they have 3-on-2 fast breaks every time down the floor.
That's Steph's fault for being such a great shooter.
I saw Steph Curry get locked down.
He is so good that it's a weakness.
Do more.
Is what you're
That's
saying.
right. Change the game. Change it more.
Step back further.
When the going got tough, I saw him get locked down on isolation defense by Kevin Love.
I immediately blame that on injury. The fact that he wanted to try and get a three and couldn't with after Kevin Love switched onto him. This is going to be different.
Come on, we heard what Mad Dog said. You're out there. You're not injured.
So LeBron James, when he has a finals MVP, or he goes to the finals and admits afterwards that he probably had a broken hand during the finals, we're going to hold it against Steph for powering through a strained MCL in the middle of the playoffs and coming back against that Cavs team after a Game 7 when they had like 2 days rest going into that finals. Hold it against him, but LeBron, you're good.
I appreciate the banter that we're having. It's a nice discourse, but you can't go up against the fact that he has 0 NBA finals.
Yeah.
Take it up with the voters.
0 NBA Finals MVPs.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's got plenty of finals. One of which came against a Mozgov Dellavedova team because everybody was hurt on Cleveland, and 2 of which came because he went up against lesser competition and he had Kevin Durant to bail him out.
Yep.
Billy, one last item from Desden, Florida, from a brown and bronze Paul Feinbaum, lean, mean, an itchy suit. Mad Dog, who can't stop talking about the 50 Celtics. What else do you have for us?
Hey, Dan, things have gotten testy here. So Paul said that he knows that Saban knows there's not a lot of runway left, but all of this is really just building up. Also, Stephen A. told us that Kirby Smart reached out to him. Well, he saw Kirby Smart, and Kirby Smart asked him to come on First Take to talk about NIL. I don't know why he told us that, but he told us that. But things just got heated very recently when they were about to switch topics, and Paul asked Molly for permission to say something. She said, absolutely, Paul, what would you like to say? Okay, quick backstory. What happened before that was Mad Dog said he was not happy with the way Jimbo Fisher left Florida State. He didn't want to hear from him. So Paul Feinbaum brings this back up, and he said, who are you to call out Jimbo Fisher for the breakup when you are responsible for one of the worst breakups in entertainment?
Wow.
When you broke up a great show for a self-absorbed dream, Mike Francesa is now selling pencils, is what he said.
Oh, my God.
He called it the worst breakup since the Beatles.
Holy
Back to you.
Wow.
Shit.
Amazing.
Is he
getting
selling
personal.
pencils?
He's not selling pencils.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is Francesa selling pencils? We've got multiple beefs here, and I don't know which one to start with. Stugotz has something for both Chris Carlin and Chris Canty, and Mike Ryan has something for our soulmates and partners, DraftKings.
Oh,
Wow.
they crossed the line.
Dangerous game, Mike.
They crossed the line. What do you know about DraftKings outside of incredible sugar daddies, life partners, people that I just genuinely like? Good hoodies, great swag, great boosts, great daily fantasy games.
Not great boost when our show is making the picks and going 0 for 12.
Well, more on that in a moment.
Great
But
for
also,
them. Yeah.
what you know, Boston-based. So, I don't know if you noticed, but last week I was trying to reverse jinx the shit out of that basketball series. I wanted the Heat to win, and I even stooped so low to actively root for the Boston Celtics, to speak to all their fans' insecurities, and will my team to victory. And then I realized there is one weapon that I have at my disposal that I have yet to pull, and it's the most effective one. I wanted to reverse jinx the Boston Celtics with a show parlay. I wanted Boston Celtics to lead at the first half, and I wanted Boston Celtics to win the game. I wanted to partner those up, give a boost parlay out there, which, by the way, would have won. Would have been our first certified. I wanted to either reverse jinx the Heat into the NBA Finals or finally break the streak.
No one's going to believe any of this. The streak is 0 for 12. The I was gonna almost DraftKings, my partner, ruined this. No one's going to believe any of this.
You know what DraftKings did? They ghosted me over the holiday weekend because Celtics fans are my points of contact there. They knew how toxic our show boosts have been. They knew that if I put out a Celtics parlay, the Heat would have won that game. They ignored me.
It was an inside
purposely.
job. An inside job with our partners and soulmates.
So don't blame the Strus 3. Don't blame the Jimmy decision. Don't blame any of that. Don't blame Scott Foster, who I think the Celtics are now 12-0 in their last 12 games, or it might have been ball sacked, who knows. But either way, when you're really looking for blame, you blame DraftKings because they wouldn't let us put out a certifiable loser in Celtics first half, Celtics for the game. But I am on better terms now with DraftKings because I had a very good night last night.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. I want to get to Stugotz's beef. Mike Ryan bet that 8-6 pandemonium game last night. That is just that's hockey running out in front of the NBA Finals and like, look at us, we're going to slide across the ice. We are grand. We are going to be Mike just kept betting more goals. He's just pumping. All he's doing is physically in his house throwing coins and dollars at his computer and betting just more goals, and somehow it was more and more goals.
Got 14 of them last night. I think that's the first time a team has scored 6 goals in a Stanley Cup Finals game and lost. Is that accurate, Roy?
No. First of all, it's not a Stanley Cup final.
I'm sorry, conference final game. Yeah.
No, the Oilers scored 8 goals in a loss versus the Los Angeles Kings in 1982.
Really? Oh, Marcel Dion.
But Mike Ryan was mainlining. He was heroin addicted to hockey playoffs last night. But before we get to that, and it raining money. Mike says he's never won more bets in a single game than just putting the turbo accelerator, the NOS, the Fast and the Furious NOS on more goals.
I am not lying when I tell you, last night's game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, I had more money on that game than I did for a Super Bowl in terms of volume of bets.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just everyone to score.
Yeah, I put out a thread before the game, and if you tailed that thread, you were a big winner today. I mean, big.
And you could have been a DraftKings boost. Instead, it was just in the private shadows of degenerate gambling.
And Twitter.
Doubling down on what Stugotz said about the most goals scored in a loss, the Oilers scored 6 goals twice in a loss this season.
Wow.
In the playoffs.
They played last night in that game, the game we were begging the Panthers to play one damn time in the hockey playoffs. They opened that series of just breathtaking hockey.
The Oilers have a 40-year-old goalie that I have no idea why he starts. He's not as good as a backup. Backup proved that over there. It was an 8-6 final. The Stars came out and shined. The league wanted this game to be an explosive fireworks show because it highlights Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid, 2 of the biggest and brightest young stars that league has. I knew it would be a high-scoring affair. This series has a genuine opportunity to set the record for goals in a series, which is 69. And this is a Western Conference Finals. The total yesterday was 7. I know you don't see that, especially in conference finals. It was over 7 midway through the second period. There were spans in this game where 3 goals were scored inside of 45 seconds.
This is what you were hoping the Panthers Stars were going to be.
What they did all season.
And the Panthers are old news, right?
Number 2 is the Packers.
Oh, wow, he's right.
Mad Dog's franchise, most storied franchise. It's going to be Yankees are going to be number 1, right? Inevitably.
Unless it goes Cowboys to spite Stephen A.
Patriots not on there. More Super Bowls, right?
Lakers too. Wow.
Yeah. Well, he went with the Celtics.
Well, we never know. Mad Dog could always not go Yankees.
He's going Yankees. He has to go Yankees.
There hasn't been HD footage of any team that's been on his list.
I've noticed that it's all been like Terry Bradshaw running around.
Art Star.
Everything
Black
is
and
like
white.
it's football before football when you had to wiggle the antenna on your television in order to see it and bang on the side of the TV. All of the footage is that, and of course Yankees are indeed number 1.
Shocking.
no Lakers, no Patriots, and Stephen A is howling with laughter and just walked off the set after leaning on Mad Dog Russo. Stugotz, why are you beefing with Chris Carlin and Chris Canty?
Odd people to have beef with. Carlin's a friend of mine, Continent. I mean, a legendary sports radio producer. He is.
Well, who are they? For those who do not know, who might not know why you are beefing with them, who are these people?
Well, they're guys who are on ESPN radio. Now, sometimes I hear them on my drive home. I think I'm supposed to be hearing Greeny, but Greeny's busy doing everything else, and so it's never Greeny. It's always somebody else. Occasionally, I'll hear them in the afternoon when I'm driving around town. But Carlin and Canty, okay, listen up. First off, they were trusted to give their first opinion on the Heat for the entire year. And every opinion they gave on the Heat-Celtics series was wrong. After Game 2, after the Celtics won, the series was a wrap. After that game, Carlin said, Saturday night in Boston, good luck to the Heat. What did the Heat do? They beat the Celtics Game 3 on a Saturday night in Boston. They got every single prediction wrong, yet they are still celebrating like they got everything right. And it drives me crazy. You didn't watch the Heat the entire season. You got everything wrong, and now you're rubbing it in Heat fans' faces, and it's pissing me off, okay? Because they clearly didn't watch the Heat. They said that the Heat would lose. It would never come back to Miami. Jimmy Butler put up a legendary performance. They were wrong there. Then it came back to Miami. Then one of them actually picked the Heat. They were wrong there. Then they come on the air, and they celebrate. Now, listen, they are nice guys. I'd love to have them on Stupidity. Little game of car in or car out, perhaps Canty or I Canty. I mean, I would love to have both those guys on, but I am telling you right now, every single opinion they gave was wrong, and they ended up being right. And I'm upset because I want that lane left to me, okay? I want to be wrong on everything and then be able to celebrate being wrong by being right.
What is the name? What is the name of the game with Chris Canty? Is it Can or I Canty?
It's Canty or I Canty.
Well, on Get Up, they already played Can He or Canty.
Oh, my God.
That one's so much better.
Forget it. I mean...
Greeny's good at this, man.
Greeny is good. I have no idea if Carlin and Canty are a radio duo. Oh, Mad Dog. Oh, doggy. He is fighting with Stephen A. How can Stephen A dispute the Yankees, the Packers, the Steelers, the Celtics, the Canadians, most storied franchises in sports history? I have no idea. But Chris Carlin, who used to produce Mike and the Mad Dog, the worst breakup in the history of sports, okay? Stephen A was right about that. How dare Chris Carlin? And I've been texting him the entire time. He was wrong at every turn. And he comes out and he slams Heat fans. And he calls us bandwagon. You know, bandwagon fans, never there on time. Yeah, I'm a Heat fan. I was at Game 7.
Well, Mad Dog says that Miami's got the worst fans anywhere. You weren't at Game... Oh,
you were at Game 7?
Wait a minute. He was. Yes, he kept this in disguise. You guys didn't hear about this. Great. Yes.
I'm a Heat fan.
The Jinx, Stugotz. You accused me of jinxing the Heat. Stugotz showed up for his first game in like 5 years, and it was Game 7, and they lost.
Yeah.
Why was it a secret?
It wasn't much of a secret. I mean, my daughters in a group text, they said, Game 7 sounds fun. Like, all of a sudden, they became Heat fans. I'm like, thank you for waiting for the most expensive game of the year. I appreciate it. And so I bought 4 tickets. We went. My daughter, Rachel, was outraged at Jimmy Butler for taking a 3 and not going for a 2 and trying to get the game to overtime. And my wife, who is a massive Heat fan, day one, she was calling Max Strauss. How about that? I mean,
you got to earn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, Dan, it's weird because they picked the Celtics to win the series, Carlin and Canty, okay?
How are we bypassing that?
But
Stugotz was at this game, and we didn't get any of the content from Stugotz being at this game, just hiding in the shadows. A lot of people here are their mouths are hanging open because we're just learning that you were at
It was a last-minute decision, I mean.
But we're just, all of us are, what happened, Mike? Do you believe?
I have my theories.
You're outraged with Carlin and Canty also,
I have my
right?
theories as to why he kept it private.
Why?
Do you have to keep them private because something nefarious was going on?
Well, he's a very public COVID shamer, and he didn't want to suffer the indignity of COVID shame.
He's right.
So he went privately to the Heat game with his daughters.
I'm slamming the Deer District. I mean, I'm slamming people everywhere they go. And, you can't do that and then go and be a part of it, And and I was a part of it.
Especially when you're doing remote broadcasts on the show. It's a little weird that you just turn up 48 hours later.
Yeah.
Wait, when was the last time you were at a Heat game? Was it the game you left?
LeBron's first game at home against the Orlando Magic.
Wait, Mike Bryant, Stugotz did 3 or 4 days at home last week because of COVID stuff and then just goes to the game quietly over the weekend?
I did it for you. I mean,
congrats on the speedy recovery.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the AC wasn't working. You were sick. You were telling me to stay away, so I stayed away. I mean, I was doing that for you. Listen, I do what I'm told. You told me to stay away. I stayed away. You didn't tell me to stay away from the Heat game. I went. FTX, beautiful arena.
But you went, but we're hiding while you went. You went, and we're just
I was
learning it
ashamed
now.
of myself.
It leaked out. It leaked out, and the truth leaked out by accident in the middle in front of us. We're all standing here with our mouths open.
Well, someone questioned my bona fides, and I just wanted to let them know, hey, I'm a Heat fan, gave 7, spent a lot of money to take 3 people who don't care about the Heat. I mean, how about that?
You're the reason. In a series decided by a shot.
To prove that we're not bandwagon fans.
An arena filled with those kinds of people. What's going on with Strauss? Jimmy, make a 2.
Emmett's right about that.
That's
though.
what was in the arena.
Yeah, but how about Carlin and Canty? You agree, right? I mean,
it's weird. It
forgot
is
about
so
that
weird
already.
that you were just ripping them for being wrong, as if everybody wasn't wrong on that series until the end, when people could say, "Well, see, I had Boston all along."
No, but they're so brazen in their opinions on the Heat, and I know Carlin very well, and I know he hasn't watched the Heat the entire season, unlike me, who goes to every game.
Look at this flex by him. I've been texting Carlin all this time.
Yeah.
That flex you had there. Not only are you going to dump on him, you're going to say, I've been texting him this whole time.
No, I told him, listen, you're going to dump on yourselves for being wrong. Like, start making fun of yourselves for being wrong. I told Carlin this, right? Because he loves the show. I said, listen, you may have gotten the overall prediction right, but Carlin, do me a favor. If you don't mock yourselves for being wrong at every turn in this series, I'm going to do it for you. So that was a warning I sent to Carlin, and now I am following through with my promise, because they came on the next day after the Heat loss, and they were serious, and they were blasting Heat fans and doing the I told you so thing. Give me a break. You didn't tell us anything. In fact, everything you told us was wrong. How about that? All right, Carlin?
That's how I feel about your COVID rants.
Thank you.
Isn't it weird we haven't seen the footage of Strus on the line yet? How many days has it been and the NBA won't publicize that footage? It is odd, right? Because we talked about this on Basketball Illuminati that came out today, this morning, that we have all the technology in the world and still Strus's foot on the line. We still can't see it. Still can't see it.
Check out Basketball Illuminati, where they will go through the conspiracy ad nauseum for all of the Heat fans who want to make it about what a weird thing minutes later on replay. In a league where gambling has flooded the premises, where Mike is feuding with DraftKings, so we'll tell you the truth from every angle, even if it's our sugar daddy who's doing the wrong thing.
Imagine a team in the NFL scores a touchdown, and 7 minutes later the ref's taken off the board.
It's not points. So let's turn this into something. Basketball Illuminati. Also, I will remind you again, just to tell you over the course of the next 2 days what it is that we're doing with the Marlins, with Tom Haberstroh, and with trying to raise money. A lot of people, when we ask for money, they tend to come with money. So we're hoping to get some wheelchairs here over the next couple of days that help some people out who are struggling with a disease that does not have a cure.
I really hope that Basketball Illuminati opens up its third eye at a Jason Tatum basket that happened after a whistle was blown too. Because that's not discussed enough. Yes, the ball hit the rim, and it wasn't a 24-second violation. I concede that. But everybody stopped playing because they thought it was a 24-second violation. There was a whistle. There was a basket that went in after the whistle, and it counted.
You got to keep your third eye open here. What we talk about on the pod is that the NBA has to balance its sheet. There's a ledger of points that they have to make up to the team. So remember when Kyle Lowry earlier this season stepped on the three-point line and they scored it 3 instead of 2 in overtime against the Hornets, and the Heat go on to win that, and the Hornets missed the playoffs by a game. The NBA has to look at that and say, how are we going to pay it back? And this Max Strus, why did it take so long? I think because they had to have some meetings about this and figure out how the conservation of points. We talk about this theory, this idea on Basketball Illuminati that the NBA has a ledger. They got to make it up. They make up calls 6 months down the line, and that's what you saw.
Why was there no review of the shot that went in after a whistle? Several minutes after the fact, there was nothing.
That wasn't the Grant Williams play? Is that
there was a I forget who scored. I may have gotten it wrong. That it was Grant Williams, but there was a ball that it sounded as a 24-second violation. It was only upon replay that you saw that it grazed the rim, Rightfully so. It shouldn't have been a 24-second violation. But everybody was confused because they thought play had stopped. The Celtics shot a basket, made it. After it sounded like a whistle went off, all the Heat players are telling you they stopped playing because they heard a whistle. Shot counted. And in a 4-point game, we have 2 baskets of extreme controversy.
Yeah, we got to send our Illumin Army on it.
It's loser talk. Universal loser talk.
Boston won. Boston is a deserved winner.
It is the lament of the losers to be like, this call here, this call there. Don't talk to me about injuries. Don't talk to me about anything else. And now you're crawling around when all you needed to do was make a couple of free throws. Just make the damn free throws.
Fair enough.
You sound like Carlin and Canty.
You want a lame beef? You're mad at
It's an
someone
odd
else
beef to
for
have,
being wrong. Someone for being wrong and then protective about being wrong, which is just the entire sports media for as long as we've been alive.
Can you be right about a series yet get every single game wrong? I mean, that's
that
what Carlin
series was
did.
the one. I feel like everyone ended up getting that series right. I had the Celtics in 7. Congratulations. You had one team going 1-3 at home and the other team going 1-2 at home. That totally makes sense.
But can you take a victory lap afterwards? I mean, I can, but can Carlin and Canty?
Everyone got that series totally wrong except at the end when they get to do the dance of I knew it. I knew it all along.
If there was ever a series you could get every game wrong but get the series right, it would be a series in which the home teams had losing records.
It was watching that was amazing, and to make the argument now of you get to be right because of Strus replay or free throws or what about that Grant Williams basket? As the media dances around, I got it right. The most predictable sport. I picked the Celtics. They were betting favorites by everybody because of what they did to Kyrie. They were minus 180. I got it right, but I got every single fucking thing wrong. Every single thing wrong. Every game I got it wrong, but I got it right.
I think I'm jealous of Carlin and Canty.
That's what it is.
I've wanted to get every game wrong my entire life and still get the prediction
you built a career
right.
out of that.
I did get one big thing right in that game, and this is catnip. I'm addicted to this. First basket made in a basketball game. Oh my god.
That's such a bad bet.
Plus Jason Tatum, first points, plus 500.
Get out of here.
Plus 500. It is so fun at the start of a basketball game just to be rooting for the very first basket.
That's a fun.
Yeah,
fun.
I'm sorry. I came in on my day off and I have a meeting that I have to go to.
Worldofsuey.com/Lulapalooza, Mike, if you want to donate, you're fine there. We're getting very close to $10,000 on this raise because Mike Schur just donated $1,420.69.
Wow.
We have some special guests tomorrow who we can't reveal just now, but I think the fans are going to be excited about.
We're doing
some
live
people, if
telethon.
you know what I mean.
We're doing a live telethon, correct? That's what we're doing tomorrow. Can you tell people
Well,
where?
yes, but without the telephones. So just a
No
thon,
telephones?
I would say.
Okay, a live
I mean,
thon.
Zoom-thon?
We could sit there and we could pretend to answer phones, but there's not really a phone that you can call into and donate money. You go to worldofsuey.com, and then you can kind of click
The
the link
telethon
there.
is
Yeah.
over, really. The telethon is dead because that's not how people call in donations anymore.
So
correct?
it's a webathon.
It would be a webathon. How about just a thon? You're donating to our thon.
Don.
Ooh, I have an idea. We can all wear thongs.
That's a
No.
terrible idea.
It's terrible.
It's a great idea for Tony.
Did that in Hawaii. Oh, damn it.